Well, I mean, one of the reasons why women can't teach you like what is arousing. First of all, they want to stay on like the beta buck side of everything. They want to make sure it's like provisioning, protection, and parental investment. You got to be funny. You got to have these characteristics. It's like what Royce used to call the 436 bullet point checklist. Those, when you ask a woman what are you looking for in a guy, she's going to tell you what she's attracted to, not what she's aroused by. So if you say, well, I really like it when a guy is 6 feet tall, he's got broad shoulders, he's got a V taper, he's got a six-pack, that doesn't come out. It's usually like good, like long-term security traits. I mean, the guy's got to be good looking, don't get me, but they kind of gloss over that and move into he's got to be good with his mom, he got to love his mom, he's got to want kids, he's got to like rainbows, he's got to have a good education, yada 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 down the list. But when you ask a woman, like a dating coach, whatever, what's good and what do you like a man to do in bed, she's not going to tell you that, because that's something you should already get. Because that is it was you who said this. It's like the best social proof is when a woman, when you're in bed with her and she knows you're good in bed because you know her body better than she does.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what I'm paraphrasing you right now?
If you know a woman's body better than she does, she already knows that you're pre-selected.
Right. So she already knows that you've learned these skills because you've been rewarded with sex from other women as well. So you just get it because you had the experience of being rewarded with that, so you know what you're doing, right? Therefore, you're the kind of guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. So, but the reason why they won't teach you that, or they won't even really want to discuss that, is because if they do, then just what you're saying before, if you can learn those things, now you've gone from the guy who she would never want to reproduce with to maybe the guy who could trick her into having sex with her and then reproducing with her. And that triggers what I've called the existential fear in women, is to have that choice taken away from her, or her sisters for that matter. So God forbid, and one woman teach a guy how to be good in bed so that he can go and trick another woman into sleeping with him to get that social proof that we just talked about.
You know what? That's very... So I do a lot of interviews with female sex coaches and female dating coaches lately, and it's very interesting, like what you just said. Every bit of advice they tend to put out is very touchy-feely, very feminine. Like, let's talk it out. Let's talk about our feelings. Let's talk about our desires.
Emotionalism.
Exactly. And I come in and I tell guys, no, just do act like this, do this, dominant, lead, push these buttons, and I get results. And when I say that to a female sex coach, they sit there and nod in agreement. And that's to go on your point of the female dating coaches can't teach that, right? They'll reveal themselves and they'll give up the golden goose if you describe what you would do as a guy.
They'll agree to it.
They'll agree to it. They'll be like, "Oh fuck yeah, that's hot as hell." But they won't bring that out verbatim themselves. They can't elicit it. They can't describe it themselves. But if you describe it to them, they will 100% sit there and nod their head in agreement.
So you're probably the perfect person to talk to about this. It's when you are dating a woman and you guys pick up a woman together, and the woman's really attractive and she doesn't get it, because she from her standpoint, sex just happens, and from your standpoint, you have to create a funnel. And so now you're trying to take a girl, you're a couple, you're trying to take a girl home, and she doesn't understand, like, no, we have to get rid of the haters. Like, she doesn't grasp. She doesn't, because she's like, no, we have to make up everything at the apartment's ready. We go to a club that's near our house. She doesn't grasp. Have you had this situation?
They don't understand logistics.
She doesn't understand.
No idea of logistics. No, like, they literally, I had this conversation like 2 days ago. They literally think like, oh, like, how about you just you're attractive, create a Bumble profile and swipe in LA and we'll get a girl together. I'm like, no, honey, like, you think I'm just gonna like the offer like off rip is gonna be have a threesome with my girl?
Because from her standpoint, that's what happened to her, because it felt organic. So it's so crazy, because I have to tell my girl this sometimes. It's like, no, you have to be aggressive. Like, let me deflect the haters, like her friend, the other dude's trying to get at her. We need to get her out of this venue before the people come and like grab her and pull her away. Like, and you have to explain to her, and she's like, it's not this complicated. No, it's not complicated for you because you're fucking hot and everything works for you. For us, you need to listen to what I'm saying. And then finally she's like, oh, like after the third or fourth time, she's like, oh, I totally understand. She's like, she doesn't see these obstacles, because for her, she just exists and there's arousal. For us,
there's a window of opportunity. If you don't get that window,
they don't understand this.
Screwed, bro.
They don't understand. It's like
I really have to fucking like what these guys are describing right now. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, holy fuck, you're bringing back flashbacks. Yo, you guys want to see how retarded women are? Have your main girl try to help you hook up with like another girl. Bro, it is one of the most frustrating fucking things ever. Women are absolute when it comes to attracting other females from a male lens. Because guess what?
Misogyny.
Now, when you're doing this, you pull the rug from underneath them. Now you're a nigga, bro. You need to go ahead and get this bitch the way I do. And then you realize how fucking dumb they are. They don't understand logistics whatsoever. They don't understand the concept of approaching her in a manner that's attractive. They think that they can still approach her on some, I'm a girl, you're a girl, okay, blah, blah, blah. No, they don't understand the concept of she has to look a certain way. They don't understand the concept of the place needs to look a certain way when we come back. They don't get any of this fucking
The biggest
shit.
one is we need to leave now.
Holy
that is the biggest
fuck.
one. You know what I'm talking about, bro?
Hesitated,
It's
now we're lost.
Dude, the dude is coming back. Like, guys, we need to leave now. Like, they don't grasp that's the big one. We need to leave now.
They don't understand buying temperature.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
like if your girl is friends with like or knows like sluts, that's one thing. She my boyfriend thinks you're hot, blah blah. That's fine. But I'm talking about you're actually going out to the club and or you're doing maybe a Bumble date or something like that, and you're like actually getting a girl that's cold, right? And you're building attraction with your girl. Yo, a lot of the times in the beginning, you have to train this out of them. They'll fuck you up. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, what? This is weird because the girls have never been in that situation. You want to see a fucking fish out of water? Oh my God, bro. Like, they have zero concept of what it takes to be attractive from a male perspective. And they think that them just being a girl and being attractive, it'll work.
Well, it's like that one woman who transitioned to being a man and lived as a man for a while and ended up self-deleting because like she just couldn't take the pressure. She, whatever, couldn't take the pressure of all of that. And I think that, like, and you've said this before, it's like women don't understand the process that guys have to go through to have, like, they got to have the place set up, the temperature in the room's got to be perfect, the barometric pressure and the goddamn humidity better be perfect, and I mean all of this stuff. Like, oh, there just happened to be wine in the refrigerator. There just
I didn't realize there were 4 different flavors of tequila.
Oysters,
Rockefeller. For you at the house. I don't know where these candles came from.
Where did this
I
come
just realized
from?
it's not until you put your girl through that training, right, and you've done this successfully a few times, that she'll finally understand and say, wow, this is a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
And then, you know what's funny? They turn into misogynists after. They literally say, wow, women ain't, this is fucking hard. This is really annoying. Because when they approach women from the male perspective, they see how fucking rude and catty they can be. They can see how they really behave. They can see the flaky text messages. They can see how they move. They can see how they operate. They start to go ahead and see, realize, this girl's trying to finesse.
Yeah.
She's just trying to get free drinks. They start to see the male experience. And then they say, what the fuck is this? And then they really start to get angry they become misogynists.
Yeah.
It's amazing how when you put women, right, you put the shoe on the other foot and you let them live the male experience, they immediately, I hate fuck this shit. And you're like, welcome to being a fucking guy.
I never knew I did. Yeah.
It's amazing, dude. I like, bro, I put like 1 or 2 girls through it, and it's like, bro, it's incredible.
Even guys in relationships, particularly guys who are like in sexless relationships, and they're like, you know, how do I turn the sex spigot back on? A lot of that comes back to the logistics of everything. I think a lot of guys think it's got to be date night, and you got to keep it fresh, and it's always like on her
spontaneity. That's the name.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much more behind that actually leads up to something that's going to actually trigger that arousal cue. But you're never going to get that. Especially if you're having that conversation. As I was saying before, just bringing it up, just having the conversation disqualifies you from the guy that she wants to fuck.
It's like revealing a magic trick.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Like if a magician reveals exactly how a magic trick is done, it's no longer captivating, it's no longer entertaining. Same thing goes with that. Like if you're revealing, like if you're explicating to a woman like, oh, I'm going to do this, here's what we're going to do in the bedroom, here's Sunday night, date night, here's what we're going to do. It just takes away all the magic.
Observing a process changes the process.
You got to lead them through it and be spontaneous and captivate them in the magic of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's really interesting because, like, dude, literally I just had PTSD when you mentioned that. I was like, holy fuck, man.